Greetings, citizens of the internet. I'm Static Buzz, and this is going to be a video discussing vRising options and network settings. And what I mean network settings, I mean if you're hosting a network game, the settings and kind of what they do. So we're going to go over all that stuff. To start, let's go over options. Options are pretty much what you generally get in most games. You could skip intro cinematics. There's all kinds of stuff in here. This is just for your game. It doesn't matter if you're joining another host or whatnot. This is going to be for your game. So you can go and you can change your controls on just about everything. You can change your action bar button. Instead of being 1 2 3 4 5 through 9, you can make it ZXCV, whatever you want it. As long as the key's not being used by something else, you could do that. Graphics, of course, are going to be graphics. This will kind of tell you what you can change and what you can't change. I don't know why it's on a lower resolution than what my monitor can handle, but change that. High is the highest option. There is no ultra. Keep in mind this is early access, so anything that I'm putting out right now could change. So just keep that in mind. Anti-aliasing, there's quite a bit of options. I'm leaving it on the default. The AMD FSR 1.0, I don't think this applies to me because I'm using a NVIDIA card, but it's there. I don't like motion blur. I don't like depth of field. So I'm turning those off. High vegetation I'll leave on. I'm going to leave low quality atmosphere off. Blood effects enabled. Of course, I mean, this is a vampire game. We want the blood effects. Screen shake. I don't really like screen shake, so we're going to take this down to like 20%. Cloth quality, like I said, high is the highest it goes, so you're good there. Then you have your sound settings are pretty standard, except for there seems to be a lot more options on what you could turn up and turn down. Master, of course, is everything. Music, effects, ambience. Music is obviously music. Effects is if you're swinging a sword or casting a spell, that'll be effects. Ambient will be like the background sounds. So like the nature sounds and that kind of stuff. Voices, if anybody's talking. UI will be if you're clicking around the UI, there'll be sounds that go off for when you're clicking on things. That's what that is for. Then you have your voice chat. I'm playing solo, so none of these matter to me. But if you want to auto join voice chat, you go here. Use voice chat, you want to click that. And you can set, I believe this is the volume for it. Like I said, it doesn't matter to me. Push to talk. You'd want to go back to your controls to see what button is push to talk. Sound card, you could change your sound card to whatever you want. Right now I'm using headphones, but I'm just going to leave it on default. And we're going to go back. So that's options. That's for your game, no matter where you're playing. That's going to be what's going on. Now, there is another part to this that is a lot more in-depth, and that is the actual network side of things. And you creating your hosted game. So we have online play, private, and hosted dedicated server. This one, you're going to probably have to pay for if you want to do this. And even it says rent a dedicated server. So if this is like Valheim, you have to pay them to be able to do this. And there's like usually a monthly fee involved. I'm not going to really go into that too much. If you want to do that, you're going to have to look up a video for dedicated servers. Online play. So if you go to online play, this is where you go to find online servers. Some will be dedicated, some won't be. PvE is player versus environment. PvP, player versus player. Full loot PvP is where you play against other players, and if you die, all of your loot is on your corpse, and if they loot it before you get back, you could lose everything. Duo PvP is a little different because I'm not really sure why. I've been trying to figure that out for a little bit here, because you can siege here and you can siege here because you have castles. So you can siege castles, and I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing things right. I've got stitches in my mouth, had some dental work done, so it's a little hard for me to enunciate certain things, but bear with me. All right. Certain time frames is a chaotic realm. So what is the difference? This is a war-torn realm. Vampires compete for supremacy as they reclaim a certain time frame. Risks rise on your own and make blood pacts with another vampire to conquer the world together. So I guess it's just PvP with teaming up with another vampire. I'm not really going to go into that. There's going to be a lot of settings in these ones that you could probably set up if you're doing a dedicated, but you can go here and you can play PvP, PvE, PvP, whatever you want to play. Hit find servers, come over here, and you could find ones that are open, hopefully. Hopefully there's no passwords associated with this. I would hope that if said over here, passwords needed to get into this. I don't know if it actually says. These are some of the settings that you could set up though, and I don't see a password on these. I haven't done the playing on other people's servers. I've only done my own, and I usually do a private game, which is what we're going to do now. So over here you could say it's PvP or PvE. For me, I'm playing by myself, so we're going to go statics. You can name it up here, statics tutorial world. Doesn't really matter. Here you have game settings. These are rule sets. These are like general rule sets. So this is the standard PvE rules. You can do PvE easy and make it an easy game. You can do PvE hard, PvE dawn, where you start at level 30 gear and level 50 gear and level 70 gear. You don't really need to worry about that too much because you can kind of do that in the other settings. But oh wait, no, this is where everything starts out at level 70, resources and progress and unlock. Yeah, so it doesn't say the enemies start at level 70, so but everything at level. So the way the game works is as you do things in the game, you unlock the ability to create more things in the game. So you can build your castle more, make more or better weapons, armor for yourself, and those type of things. And there's a journal that you follow that unlocks those things as you go. We'll get into that a little bit later. Alright, so clan size. If you plan on having a clan in the game, I'm playing solo, but if you're not playing solo, you want to uncheck this, change this max concurrent players to whatever you want to host. Keep in mind that your network better be able to handle it, your system better be able to handle it, or you're going to be chugging along, so keep that in mind. Clan size, you could take that up if you want. Like I said, I'm playing solo, so not going to worry about that too much. Now to the meat and potatoes of what we want to get into here. Alright, so global chat, I'm turning it off. I'm playing by myself, but if you want it on, leave it on. Server time zone, you can say local, UTC, PST, whatever time zone you want it to be. I'm going to leave it as local. Permission to loot dead players, you can select who can loot dead players, anyone, clan members, only self. So only self would be the player themselves. If you die, you can go back to your body and loot your body. Clan members would be other members of that player's clan can loot that player's body. And anyone would of course mean anybody in the game can loot the corpse. Alright, so soul shards amount, you can change this to unique or plentiful. Default is plentiful, that's what I'm going to leave it at. Garlic strength multipliers, silver strength multipliers, sun strength. These are all things that affect your vampire. So if you didn't like the sun strength, you could lower it to half the damage that it is now. And then when you get hit by sunlight, it wouldn't do as much damage. You could even take it all the way down to 0. If you don't want to have to deal with it, you want to be a daywalker, take it down to 0. Now this little button over here, this will reset it to default. Silver strength and garlic strength, same thing. For enemies using those types of things against your vampire, you can increase or decrease them. So let's say you wanted to be more of a daywalker, you could take this down to 0, but then you could take silver up to say, well, I'm still a vampire, so we're going to make this 2.5. Oh, I said 5. So we'll just change this to 2. Garlic, we'll make that 1.5, which why is it not let me do 0.5? That is weird. Alright, so you can do 1.5 this way, but you can't type 1.5. That is weird. And you could set them up however you want to set them up. So you could do that. Bloodbound equipment. This was most equipment will not drop upon death. So if you want this enabled, you could do that so that everything you're wearing at least wouldn't drop on you. So with this selected like this, you get to keep your weapons, you get to keep your armor, your rings, anything you're wearing, and your, you have your axe, your spear, your sword, your mace. You keep all of those that you have on you, even though those are still technically in your inventory. And I'm not sure if there's anything else. I know you lose all your crafting items still. All right, teleport bound items. This is so certain items won't let you teleport if you have them on you. You can disable that so that you can always teleport if you want. That's fine. Inventory stack multiplier. I don't really fully understand this. It says it multiplies the amount of items that can be combined into a single stack. I think what this means is if I take this up to 5, I have to have 5 items to make a stack. Where if I have just the one, I can stack one item on another item. But if I don't have, say I made it 5, if I had 5, I'd have to have 5 items to combine them to make a stack. I think that's how this works. I haven't tested it. Loot multiplier. This is how much loot drops from enemies, barrels, boxes, and chests. So if you wanted more items from those, you would increase that. Your servant hunt, same thing. If you wanted more results from that, you would increase that. If you wanted more materials from trees and minerals and whatnot, you would increase materials. Blood essence, same thing from enemies killed. When I'm all done with this, I'm going to go over my preferred options for how I set up my game, and I'm going to go over that at the end. So if you want to see how I do it, then stick around for that. All right, so this is your castle. This is your decay rate multiplier. So if your heart runs out of blood essence, this is how fast your castle will deteriorate. So if you can increase that or lower that, you can make it where it doesn't decrease at all, or you can make it where it really decreases. However you want to do it. And also your blood essence drain, you could change that here as well so that your heart doesn't drain as fast. Always a good thing to keep blood essence in your heart, but if you're running low and this is annoying, you could take it down. Your castle heart limitations. So this says you can have 2 hearts per player. Since I play by myself, I'm going to take that up for sure. Because this is the number of castles you can have. And I'm going to want a lot of castles if I'm playing by myself. Alright, but anyways. Minimum distance between castles, pretty self-explanatory. The larger this is, the further away the castles have to be away from each other. So if I take this up to 10, then they have to be 10, whatever that measurement is in the game. I don't know if that's 10 square blocks. When you go to set up and expand your borders, if it's 10 of those blocks or what it is, but it's going to require more distance between each castle. I'm just going to leave that at 2. Don't really care. All right, territory tile limit. So this is how many tiles you can have if your castle's heart is level 1, 2, 3, and 4. I like to have progression, so this is probably going to stick. Servant limit per castle, depending on the heart level, is here for the default. So the higher this number is, the more servants you can have at these level for your castle heart. Vermin nest, how many vermins you can have in a single castle. Same with your tombs and your lockbox. If you're gathering a lot of materials and you're worried about other people taking them, you're going to want to increase this. I'm going to be playing by myself, so I'm not worried about other vampires coming in and looting my lockbox, or my regular chest. A lockbox means nobody else can open that but me. So if you're hosting a server with a bunch of players and you want to increase the amount of lockboxes you and other players can have, this is where you do that, and nobody else can loot your stuff that you put in there. Alright, so this is crafting and building. This is where you can modify how much it costs to build a structure. So you could half it, you could raise it if you want to make it where more stone to build a wall, or more wood or less wood, whatever you want to do. Crafting cost multiplier. This is for crafting items. You can lower the amount, raise the amount. Crafting rate. This is how fast you craft an item. So this wouldn't be your building, but this would be like if I want to, make a new sword. This is how fast I can craft that. Refinement. So refining items. So when you go to upgrade, say, your chest piece, that's what they're talking about here. So what is the cost for that? Do you want it to be lower or higher? You can do that here. Refinement rate, how fast it refines an item. It seems to be pretty fast from what I played so far, but if you get later in the game and it's taking too long, you could lower this. The problem is you have to do this at the beginning of creating a server and hosting a server. You can't do this while the server's up. At least I haven't found a way to do that. There might be a text file or something somewhere, but I haven't found it. So this, hopefully they include that in a later patch, so that you can go in, if you're the host, and change the settings in the game itself. But right now I haven't seen a way of doing that. If somebody knows how to do that, if it is a way, let me know in the comments, because I would like to know that for sure, because I've been toying around with this, creating new servers and that kind of stuff, just to figure out how to do it. Alright, server convert rate. This is how fast it takes to convert a human into a servant. Increase or lower at your desire. Dismantle resource multiplier. So you've built the castle made of wood. You want to make it stone. But some walls aren't where you'd like them to be or whatever, and you want to dismantle those walls. This is where you change the amount of resources you get back from that process. Right now it's at 0.75%. So if something takes 100 stone, you're only going to get 75 back. So if I wanted to get a full amount of what I put into it back, I would change this to 1. If I wanted to lower that, I would lower it. I'm not going to mess with that at all. Alright, now this time setting, this is very, very important, because your vampire takes damage when the sun is out. So the longer the days are, the more you've got to run around in the shadows and hide in the shadows, and early on that is not easy. So if you wanted to make things more, if you wanted to increase the nighttime, you would go over here and you would increase the nighttime this way, and you could shorten the daytimes here. Swedish winter is 1 hour of the day, 23 hours of the night. Oh wait, this is day length, sorry. Oh, it's still right. I'm sorry, it's still right. So this is the time that it takes for a day to pass. So 3,600 seconds is how long the whole full day goes to pass through the, the day lasts. So 600 seconds would be a short day, and 3,600 would be a long day, and the medium is 180 seconds. What the daytime link does is it changes the hours that are daytime of those seconds. So if you, and it's broken down into 24. So Swedish is 1 hour, short is 3 hours, medium is 8 hours. I do not know what these are. I would think Swedish summer would be 23 hours of the day and 1 hour of the night, and long would probably be 16 hours of the day and 8 of the night. I don't know. I'll get to what I like on this when I get to my preferences later. Alright, so the next section is the vampire section. This is what affects your vampire and any other vampire in the game, so keep that in mind. If you increase or lower this, it's going to affect everybody who joins your game. Health modifier, obviously, it's going to modify your health. Regardless of your gear, whatever, it's going to modify your health. So if I wanted to take that up to 5 times the amount of health so that I am a beefy vampire, I could do that. Physical power multiplier is how hard you hit with physical weapons like a sword or spear. Spell power is the same thing, but with spells and how hard they hit. So if you want to increase those, you'd go up. Resource power multiplier. So this is when you are dealing damage to, say, a tree or a rock. This would increase the amount of damage you do before the rock or tree breaks. I do not know if this affects the amount of resources you get from this, just how fast that it destroys the object. Damage received. If you are getting hit too hard and don't like it, that you could lower this so that you're receiving less damage, or increase it if you wanted more of a challenge so that you're taking more damage. Blood drain rate. This is how fast you drain the blood of creatures and humanoid characters in the game. You can lower this so that it's faster or raise it so that it's slower. I will caution you on this to be careful, especially on lowering it to be faster, because if you make it too fast that you can't left click and finish off the whatever you're sucking the blood out of, then you're going to be switching blood types constantly because you're not going to be able to keep the one you want. So if you're not familiar, when you're, say I suck the blood of a beast, I'm going to get a blood type for that beast, and it's going to give me a certain attribute because of that blood type. And there's several types in there. There's a brute, there's other ones. So if I am sucking the blood, say I got the beast and I'm sucking a humanoid's blood and I don't want to switch blood types, I can hit the left button and finish that off, still get some healing done from the blood drain, and kill them off without taking their essence, changing my blood type that I have on my character. Hope that makes sense. So like I said, if you lower this, make sure you do some testing and make sure that you can still finish off something that you're sucking the blood out of. Otherwise you're going to switch blood types quite a bit. Alright, this is equipment stuff. So this is going to be durability loss. If you don't like a lot of durability loss, you're going to want to lower this. If you want more, you want to be more like Zelda Breath of the Wild, take this up to 5. Let's do your thing. Health multiplier. This is the multiplier from equipment, so your armor and whatnot. Resource yield multiplier. This is going to change the resources that you can get on your, say if you're using an axe, it increases the amount of tree branches you get, the wood that you get. So if you increase this when you're using an axe, it's going to increase the multiplier on getting the resources based on the axe that you're using. It's going to increase the multiplier there. So as you upgrade your axe, you get more resources, and this will increase that further. Physical power multiplier. This is going to be for your equipment. It's going to increase the physical damage multiplier of your equipment. And spell multiplier, same thing. Your equipment that gives you multiplier for spell power is going to be multiplied by whatever you change it to be here. Alright, so standard units. This is going to be the wolves, the humanoids that you're fighting. You can increase them to make them more challenging, or if they're too challenging, you can lower their health, or you could lower their damage, or both, so that you're taking less damage. You can also do that up above if you just wanted to make yourself a better character. They kind of redundant. They've done it in 2 places, but it gives you options. Alright, V blood units. These are kind of elite enemy type deals in the game, and they give you some things. You can see down here there's boss specifics and stuff like that. I won't go into them too much, but you can increase their multipliers if you want to make them more difficult, or if you're having a hard time, you could lower their health down and their damage down as well. Boss specifics. I'm not going to click this because it's going to show the boss moves on here, and I guess I could do it. I could just do it down low. Should only give me like the first one. Alright, so the Alpha Wolf. So the Alpha Wolf has a special specific move that it has that it gives you. Once you beat it, you can use it. If I was to click this, it's going to unlock that for my character at the start of the game. I could also change the level of the Alpha Wolf here to be lower or higher. I'm not going to do either of those things, and I'm gonna uncheck that so we don't go further. But you could go down the list and unlock those things. Those are kind of progression things, though. At this point, what we're getting into is we're getting into progression of the game and changing the progression. Bosses are those things. You can unlock all the boss move sets from going in here and just clicking down the line and be like, all right, unlock all this stuff. I want it all from the beginning. You can do that, and If you want to play that way, that's on you. I like progression in my game. I like to unlock things. I like to feel like I'm achieving things. So maybe I'll do that once I've beat the entire game, if there is an end to it. But for now, I'm not going to do that. All right. Progression, starting equipment. Default is none, but if I wanted to start off with level 30, 50, or 70, or even 80 gear, I could do it right here, just by selecting these things. And to give you an idea, level 1 gear is the first stuff you make. I believe that this gear level is it doesn't go full 30 on copper. I think it goes 9. So I'm not exactly sure why it does that. It says gear level 9 when I was testing it. But hey, whatever. You can increase your starting gear this way to your heart's content. But keep in mind, if you're doing PvP, that does everybody. So I guess if you just wanted a max level PvP system, or a server, you could set it up to 80. And I don't know if 80 is max, but you could start with 80, and then everybody starts at least with 80 there, and it's good to go. Starting resources. This is similar, but instead of getting equipment, you get resources. Level 30 resources, level 50 resources, level 70 resources that you can use on your castle, on your gear, on your weapons, whatever you want to use it on. And it gives you a stack of certain types depending on how high up you go. Alright, now unlocking the journal. This one is kind of... I don't really want to go too far down because it could be spoilers, but most people have probably already done this if you own the game. These are the basic tutorial stuff here. Alright, so what this does is as you're progressing through the game, like this first one, it says collect the remains. It's going to say collect 30 bones. So you're going to collect 30 bones, and then once you do that, it's going to be on the top left. It's going to say collect 30 bones, and then once you collect 30 bones, it's going to have a claim button up there. And when you claim it, you're going to claim the reward for it. And the reward for collecting 30 bones is the ability to make a bone sword, and I think that's it. But as you go up, you start unlocking more and more stuff. Like think about here, it starts to have you make a castle around in here. So you start making a castle and you start making items to help you increase your gear and whatnot. So you could go in and you could check all of these all the way down, and what that's basically going to do is going to make you not have to focus on that, and everything's going to be unlocked. Anything that's unlocked in a journal will be unlocked at the start of the game. Now, what that means at the start of the game is all your bone weapons, all your bone armor, the level 1 stuff is going to be there for you to craft, and you could just get the items and craft them. All of your castle stuff is going to be unlocked. All the stuff you unlock for the journal is going to be unlocked. You'll be able to create the castle of your dream right from the get-go if you can get the materials. Obviously, if you're doing that, you're going to probably want to go up here on the resources to help you out and whatnot. So I wouldn't recommend this unless you have beat the game, but hey, to each his own. You could do that. Unlocking research. There's also 3 tiers of research that you could do once you unlock a specific item in the game. And then you research, you provide whatever it needs for the research. The research goes, it's a time thing, and you unlock more things. So if you wanted to unlock them from the get-go, you could also just check these. And at the beginning, you'd already be able to have all that stuff good to go, rocking. You don't need to worry about the journal or the research. You could just play the game the way that you want to play, dive in as deep as you want to play, and whatnot. Like I said, I like progression, so that's not how I have been doing things. But let's get into my preferences here. So let's go ahead and start. I leave local time. I'm playing by myself, so this settings don't matter. If this is going to be whatever you want, I'm just going to leave it on only self. I'm going to leave the default pretty much all the way down until I get to the decay rate. I'm going to make this half if it lets me. There we go. The blood essence drain, I want to make this half, just so I don't have to go around and collect those things as much. Castle heart limitation, like I said, I'm playing by myself. I mean, you don't really need a lot of castle hearts in each one, but I'm going to go ahead and crank that up just because, you know, hey, why not? I'm playing by myself. I don't want to be limited by that. All right. These settings are pretty good. It keeps the progression. I'm not going to change the castle heart level and how many tiles it can have, because I want progression and I want a reason to go up to level 2 and 3 and 4. Now I am going to change the servants. I'm going to make this 5. I'm going to make this 10, make this 15, and make this 20, just so I can have the full amount per castle. And like I said, I'm playing by myself, so, you know, it's all good. And it's per castle, so you can build 20 coffins and be good with your servants there. The vermin, I'm going to take this up to 10. I don't need to go too far on that. Tombs, I'm going to go that 20 on that. Lockbox, like I said, it doesn't matter. I'm playing by myself. Build costs, I'm going to leave those all the same. I like the progression. I'm not too worried about that. I'm tempted to change the servant convert rate to make it faster because I'm going to have so many servants, but until I get there and see how it goes, I'm going to leave this as is, and if I have to start another server, then that's fine. That's fine. Alright, so we're going to go days length. This one's going to be kind of personal preference. How fast you want to go from day to night in a circle. I want a longer day, and I want short. This 1 hour of daytime, and when I say short, I mean daytime. This 1 hour daytime, I'm worried about that because I don't know if things spawn during the day. And if things spawn during the day that I need for progression, I'm going to want at least 3 hours to do what I need to do with them. 8 hours is too much. I don't want to deal with the sun 8 hours a day, dodging the sun, going into shadows. Don't want that. All right. Health modifier and all that stuff, I'm leaving that all the same. Durability loss from my equipment, I'm taking that down to half. I hate having to repair or replace equipment too regularly. It drives me nuts. Leaving all this stuff down here as the way it is, and that's pretty much it. That's how I like to start my hosted server, my own game, and we'll go over that again. So we go decay rate down to 0.5. We take blood essence down to 0.5. Cast heart limitation up to 5. I leave the minimum distance. I leave everything when it comes to tile limits because I like progression. I up the server limit so that there's progression, but it's gives me the full amount at the end. Vermin nest I take up a halfway. Tomb limitation up to 20 just because. Not worried about lockboxes because nobody can steal my stuff. And then I changed the day length to 3,600. Day length to short, which is 3 hours out of the 24. And I take my equipment durability down to 0.5, and that is how I change it, and that is how I make my server. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it's a lot of text on the screen, not a lot of action, but I think it's a very important thing to know what you're getting into when you're making a server so that you know what you get at the end. Especially if you can't go in and change it right now, you really need to know what the options are. So that's what I'm trying to help people with. Anyways, if you'd like to see more of this, let me know. If you wanted to add anything that I may have missed in the comments, please do. Until next video, take care. Bye-bye now. Static Buzz out. The question is, will the game start for my 20 seconds for the video overlay is... Oh, I'm in. At least with the character. Hairstyle. Oh, let's change that to black. And static accessories. What is? I like the ear things. They look vampire-y to me. And on that note, I have been awakened.